We still do 7 NUFC Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications options. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for other myths. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices, I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. But you know, they wouldn't let you have it any other way. Stepping back from what you lack, the past just pulls you back in again. Save me from myself, it just carries on, just carries on.
Good evening, welcome along to the Fans Forum on NUFC Matters, Monday the 20th of October, and it is welcome to you at home. Welcome to Jeff, Alan, Pablo, Al-Walid, Ian, Kevin, Darren and George. And we're going to look back first of all at the match against Brighton at the weekend. And we said it would be tough. We knew it was going to be tough with the stats that were presented, George. And it was. We lost 2-1. Great goal by Voltamada, but other than that, not a great deal to shout about, George.
No, not really. Disappointing, but on the other hand, there are periods of the game when we could have made much more of the possession and the way we were playing than we did. But we didn't. We couldn't sustain it, and that's not us at all. And of course, for me, the key factor was that on a day when we needed them, our three midfielders, all three decided to have an off day at the same time. So Brighton were able to walk through the middle of all the first half, time after time we were scrambling, and that was most disappointing for me. But there were periods of time when, you know, when we got hold of the match, particularly after we'd scored the goal, that if we'd kept pressing the way we were, we would have got back into the game without any bother. And then, of course, typical of the things that are happening, you know, Danny Welbeck doesn't score for 9 games, and then he comes against Newcastle United and he scores 2. The second of which was a shot and a half, which in another day would end up in Rosette, but because it was us, it ended up in the back of the net. So, yeah, disappointing, but I'm not, you know, it's not crushing. There's still lots of good things to come out of it. And the one thing we have reaffirmed, and you hinted at it, Steve, is that we've definitely found ourselves a goal scorer. I mean, the skill he put into putting that ball away, the control and the picking his spot, that's somebody who likes scoring goals, and I think we're going to enjoy having him up front. We just need to give him a bit more support, which he didn't get much of on Saturday. It was I don't know. It was strange that some of the things that we usually do, we're good at, the press and the sustaining things, we just didn't do on Saturday. And what, if people are looking for all sorts of reasons for that, was it international break? Well, you can't say that because Brighton had as many players away on international duty as we did, and it didn't affect them that much. I don't always like singling out individual players, but I've got to say, I was absolutely couldn't understand what Anthony Elanga was supposed to be doing. And, I was amazed he got the half time. It was, he was just awful, is to put it mildly. But it not all on him, but certainly he missed the whole. He just wasn't in the game for me, which is saying an awful lot for somebody that we're looking forward to seeing. I've no doubt he'll come back, as will some of the others, but a loss which we can't really complain about, but they took their chances, and when we had, as I say, the bits of the game that we had, we couldn't sustain it. So it was inevitable what the result was going to be, best thing to do is move on, wait for the next one, and I'm sure Eddie will sort it out, and still confident he will, and we'll move forward.
Okay, Darren, you made the long trip down. It's always difficult when you drive a 16-hour round trip and you get beat. But give us your version of events, mate. You left a pretty decisive message in our WhatsApp group or our messenger group, and I pretty much agree with everything you said.
I thought I'd never see the day I wanted Murphy on the pitch so much.
How much?
I was praying for him to come on, because Elanga, there's one point we were on the counter attack. All he had to do was run the straight line. He had Gordon busting the gut, then cross the ball of Gordon, and he shot and cut back in, and then we were a dead boat situation. It was like it's so annoying, and now I pass the ball from left to right, right to left, but it's too slow, man. You need to be quicker. Everything look lethargic when passing the ball. The goal Lev scored, it was Botman should have been better on the marking. The second goal, I've watched it. Yes, Dan Burn blocked it, felt well back. But I question Nick Pope on his positioning, and I think he should have done a little bit better. Now, you said what Nick Pope, but when you say I've watched it, I've looked at that, I do question Nick Pope a little bit on his. I think he should have done a little bit more better. Man of the match was Chow. Our midfield free didn't do much. Bruno kept looking for the free kick all the time, kept going down. It's gonna be a long, hard season, because I know Baltimore scored a worldie, but he needs to be in the picking box. When we scored the goal, he was in the box. Murphy was in the min, but before that, he wasn't in the box at all. And I think that's going to be the downfall. I don't think Eddie's got a big plan for bringing subs on, change the game. When actually come on from Joe Linton second half, he had a good game. He was more direct. And Dan Birdie's got to play that with good chance. We need to get Lewis Hall back ASAP, because Dan Birdie's not a left back. If he had a chance to cross the ball, he hit it low. He's got the knee one. I know Magnus said Newcastle finished top and second top. Cat and health chance Newcastle's finished second top. And our player tomorrow night, it's going to be a hard game tomorrow night. But we look to score one goal or two goals if we're lucky. Our attacking position doesn't look good. We're not having a shot outside the box. We're too afraid to have a shot outside the box. It's a bit like Bournemouth, but just very lethargic. You know what I mean? Bournemouth and Brighton have worked at 1,400 miles, 420. So you get to judge your football, Steve. I was so the worst sound when their fans scored 5 minutes ago, they're celebrating like Christ. And then there's pretty celebration music. It's long drive back, Steve. I've watched some of the highlights. It's just we need to get things sorted, like say that. And people come out of the national break and they look. Kelly's actually a great player, but they look very slow, very lazy at times. Langer, I would definitely drop when I play Murphy all day long. And that's a lot good for me. I was Murphy's number one criticised last season. So at the minute I'm a Murphy fan.
I've got to ask you about the away end, Darren. I'm seeing lots of reports about empty seats, and lots of people saying that the away crowd isn't what it has been in the past. It seems to be a lot of annoyance amongst what I would call the hardcore who've gone home and away for many years.
But Stevie, to be fair, you can spot. Like you're seeing like people there with kids and all that thing, and you can tell people who corporate. You can see it, and like it was a row of empty seats. And it was a few empty seats in Newcastle. There was. It was meant to be a sellout. I don't think it was a sellout, to be fair, because you could see a lot of the empty seats row in front of me. We had about 6 or 7 seats spare. Down here, a few seats spare. So people just buying the ticket and not going, and not telling the people not going. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. It doesn't. It was a very flat. It was like as soon as they scored, it was nothing. It wasn't much singing going on. To be fair, Steve, you know what I mean? Like usually, like, away games, you sing non-stop. You were loud, and it wasn't. None of that. It was strange atmosphere, and you can spot the corporate people who goes because it was a lot of. We talked to a few like Cockney people and all that. And like, they got a friend and all that, and of corporate they got the tickets off. So it's something not right. Corporate are passing the tickets on their friends and all that. So I think corporate maybe ruining their away games.
Right. Okay. It was just interesting. I just thought I'd ask you, with you being there, what your thoughts were on that.
You could tell, Steve, be fair, even Bainesy, even he said that. Even he said about that, like, on the way back.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Thanks, Darren. Kevin. Yeah. I mean, lots of people making tactical suggestions, which is, of course, your forte as a coach. It's interesting to see people picking Eddie Howe's, team apart, saying that the midfield aren't the same as we thought they were, and this, that, and the other. Dan Burns never a left back, and literally everything getting picked apart on social media after that defeat, mate. But how did you see it?
Well, I only watched 45 minutes, so that might have been a positive thing, but within the first 45 minutes, I could pick out the whole problems, and I've said this for months, maybe longer, in that with the shape that he plays and the 5 that we drop into in the midfield, it's too flat, it's too square. If Tonali's meant to play the 6, if that's what the modern term and the terminology is, he should be deeper and more of a point of the midfield, and he's not. And he's getting too high, and that's how they scored their first goal. The ball, I can't remember the build-up play, but the initial pass from the blonde centre-half into their number 10, one pass through 4 or 5 players, done us.
Took everyone out.
And took everybody out, and then I don't disagree with Darren. I see where Darren's coming from in terms of Sven Botman, in terms of not engaging with the ball quickly enough. He was dropping off with the run because Welbeck got in between Chow and Botman, so they've got to make a decision. And I think George or whoever said they've got to. I think Steve Hasty said it last night. And professionals, they don't communicate. It doesn't look like
that. Sorry to butt him because I'm coming next, but do you think that's because he's constantly worrying about covering Big Dan at left back? Because that's what I thought. I thought he had one eye on what was going on with Dan.
No,
he ran centrally, so Gordon didn't do his job. Elanga didn't do his job. So if that's the case, then he's got covered. Joe Linton didn't do his job. That's what the 2 outside midfielders of the 3 do, to cover them and double up, essentially, really, or triple up, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I just thought one of the 2 should have engaged a little bit quicker and get, to step half a 2 yards further forward and just engage with the ball and get in front of it, and they didn't, and they got punished. Great finish. You're not going to, it is what it is. But I agree again with Darren. It was, again, I've said it for weeks. It's methodical, pretty boring to watch, to be honest. After about 10 minutes, it gets a bit flat, and we just drop in, and we thought, oh well, we've had a bit of a go first 15 minutes, and then we'll just sit in, try and play on the counter attack because we've got pace. Yes, we've got pace, but they do jack crap with it. And I totally agree with Darren that I almost turned the TV off when Elanga turned back towards his own goal and played the ball square backwards to whoever, Trippier, and then it allows Brighton, therefore, to get back into their defensive shape, which, as we all know, it takes forever for us to break a team down, and we haven't got that. You even seen it with the Bruno little balls in, what he was doing for Brazil at will over the international break, and what he's done with Murphy for however long. When it was with Elanga, it was a stop and go, and then Bruno plays the ball out with play, and it looks like it's crap, but it's not. It's just the lack of understanding between the two players and the initial movements in behind, and we haven't got that. We haven't got the football IQ and the intelligence for making those runs in beyond. I'm sure, look, and we can all say, yeah, we play games, and that's great, and we've got to get consistency playing games, but Eddie Howe needs the time on the practice pitch to get this cohesiveness together. That's what he needs. It doesn't happen in games. You can't just do it in a game. You have to do it on a Monday to Friday for however long. It'll not take him long, but he needs that time with his full squad, not 12s, not 13s, not a little handful of group of players. He needs a good 20 players so they all are on the same page. Everybody, I can hand out session plans to anybody or go read that on the bus on the way down, and this is how we're going to play today, lads. Doesn't work like that. You've got to have repetitive movements. You've got to have repetitive plays.
But Kevin, do you not think we've played the formation too long now, and all the teams know how we play now?
Yeah, I think you're possibly right. But again, I agree with you that
it looks too obvious. It looks, you can tell he didn't have a B plan.
Yeah, well, for me, I thought about it last night. I mean, I wouldn't fully change the 4-3-3. That's his go-to. That's what everybody knows. But I agree with that. It's possibly too. He's done it for too long, and he needs something different. When we've played it, I don't call it a 5, but when we've played a 3, so like Burn, a Shaw, Botman, or a combination of a back 3, making it Trippier, whoever, making it a back 5. Then we'll look better. We'll look more defensively strong. We'll look more defensively structured, and we'll have an idea. But see, for me, I would go like if a 3-4-2-1 type idea. That's in the ideal world. If you've got Wissa high up and you got Voltemada and somebody else within behind him, and a solid group in Tonali, Bruno, and 2 wide players just to give structure. So it's just manipulating that, and because they overloaded the midfield this weekend again. Because we've only got 3. They played 4-2-3-1 of some sort. Then they push 4 high up against our back 4. So they go long and direct. So it's a 1-to-1, man-to-man game. And we didn't deal with that, unfortunately. And they won the ball underneath, and then they win the ball high and just impressed. But, like I said, I only watched 45 minutes of it, so it's probably much of a muchness. I mean, I'll go to the goal right from the start. That's again, not world-class, but it's a fabulous finish. Knows exactly what he's doing, but that's the only bright spot of the whole thing. But again, look at his leg position. It doesn't look orthodox. Looks very uncomfortable. It looks weird how he does it, but I don't care as long as the ball goes in the back of the net. But it's very
nothing about the lad's normal, is it? Nothing's normal.
Yeah, nothing's about. But that's the beauty of it. That's the wonderful nature of it. So. Again, that's a whole other thing where trying to play along beside him, what he brings and what he offers, because when the ball goes into him and he's putting one-touch passes into the midfield, but there's nobody running. It's all dropped in backwards, and then there's nobody going beyond. Defenders, George will tell you as a fullback, what's the worst position that a defender wants to be in is facing their own goal, chasing the ball towards their own box with pace behind you. And we're not doing that. And that's the problem. And so, again, it's agreeing with Darren in terms of the pace of play is slow. We might have to go a bit more direct. We might have to just put balls into the corner and turn them around, and then you can start high pressing and things. But, yeah, it was always going to be a difficult game down there. It always is. But again, it was much of a muchness from what I've seen in the terms of the two sides. They just had the bit of quality to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's what counts. You can perform as well as you like, but if you don't score, you're never going to win games, and that's unfortunately where we are. But again, we can move on tomorrow night and put it right. That's the nice thing about the quick turnaround.
Okay, good stuff. Ian?
I thought we started the game off well. I thought we looked in control for the first 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. To me, it just seemed, it's weird. They seemed like leggy, even though a lot of the lads didn't actually play in the international break. There's a few things I think are really affecting us at the moment, and I think I'm definitely glass half full on this. I think it will be sorted out. There's something not right with Big Joe at the moment. He couldn't pass wind at the moment. He can't play a 3-yard pass in front of a player to run onto. Everyone's constantly having to check back. He's passing way out late, and I love Big Joe, but for me, he's had one good game that I can remember this season, and apart from kicking the what out of everybody, he's not really done much else than that. I know he's not a technical player, and that is his game for us, but he's always been able to play a pass, and you see him on the table football and all that, and he has got some technical ability to him, but he's just looked way off. I think we're really missing one of the two young lads at fullback. We can have trips at right back who for me he's been decent. But if you're having Trippier on one side, you need some pace on the other side at least, so then they can drop into the 3, or vice versa. If you've got Byrne at left back, which I'd rather have George now playing left back. No offense, George. I think George would probably be better.
It's time that can go faster.
Dan Byrne for me is that heart and soul of that team, but he's a centre back, and I think it's actually unfair putting him there. But I understand why he is doing that. But when you've got the two of the older guys on either side, then we just seem static. And I go back to what I said before. I honestly do think that we're overcompensating for the fact that Dan's there. Everybody's got an eye on him getting skinned. But going back to the game, I thought we did well at the start. We really dropped off towards the end of the first half. I thought the changes, for me, Eddie Howe did exactly what I was screaming for at half time. He made the changes I was saying to make, and I thought it did change the game. And I thought we were better. We were in the ascendancy. Voltemada, Big Nick, he looks awkward, but he isn't awkward. He just looks awkward because he's massive and cross-eyed. You know what I mean? But he's he is quality for me, and he's got. I honestly, people are going to slate us for this, but I don't care. I'm happier having him in the team than Isak in the team, because I think he's got a better all-round game for us. What he actually needs is some supply. He needs supply, and he's got nothing from the right-hand side.
He's coming too deep though, mate.
Say it again.
Yeah.
Keep coming too deep though.
He does keep dropping too deep. I think when Visa comes in, I think there'll be a change of formation. I keep saying, 4-2-3-1 is probably what we're going to go to. Well, and I think Big Joe gets dropped, and I think he plays with Bruno and Charlie in midfield. But anyhow, listen, I'm not a football coach. I'm not a tactician. I love football, and I think that we're doing the best that we can do at the moment. But they looked tired. It was weird. Did they not look leggy to other people? I thought they looked tired.
Tired.
Say it again.
look tired.
Yeah, they were second to it. We lost. We were losing 50-50s when we'd usually win them.
Usually get them all. Yeah.
Yeah, but
a strange scenario, really. I'm not going to blame international football. And I think 11 players that you would have considered for selection for Brighton, and 11 players that you would have considered for selection for Newcastle were on international duty. They all played varying amounts of games. They all did different types of travelling, but that was a level playing field for me.
On paper, Stevie, we should be beating them.
Personally, yes.
It's Brighton's a good team.
They're a good team. They're a good team, and our record against them is abysmal. For the last 17, 18 games, it's been abysmal, and we've never won at the Amex. There's lots of things against us, but Newcastle's team under Howe over recent seasons has gone and broken some big records like that. They've gone and won at places where they haven't won before. So it's about time we won at Brighton.
Last thing I want to say, Steve, is people slagging Eddie Howe off for that result. That's not Eddie Howe's fault. I don't think he did much wrong in that game. I think the players let him down. He didn't do much wrong for me. Apart from I wouldn't have played Dan. I would have brought in one of the young lads at left back. But
he picks the team. He picks the team at the end of the day, and Eddie Howe will tell you. It's his responsibility. He's the one who sees the players. He's the one who sees them day in, day out. He's the one who, at the press conference on Friday, says, I will make the decision off the back of this last training session. So he clearly picked that team thinking that team was going to get 3 points. He doesn't put a team out to lose. So I would partly agree with you, and I would say that, he's saying Alex Murphy. He's saying Alex Murphy because that is the young left. He's, I mean, you've only
got leg.
Well, he's a centre half by trade.
You've only got two choices. You play Alex Murphy slightly out of position, and you play him at full back, or you play Emil Kraft at right back, and you play Kieran Trippier at left back. No, he hasn't. And you play him at right back, and you play Trippier at left back. You go for two international experienced full backs who are a lot slower than the two would like to have been playing. And that's what you do. But it's listen, Eddie gets paid to make these decisions. It's as simple as that. Okay, we'll hit the bottom row now. Al-Walid, your views on the match of the weekend?
Good evening, lads. Disappointed result. It's rare, one of the rare games that Newcastle make the tie and lose afterwards. I agree with most what you say, lads, and especially with Kevin. Described it very well, the weakness at the moment. Personally, I see the team predictable and play. All the coach or the other teams predict how Newcastle play, and this is not weird thing to accept. To predict how the other team play against you, but usually Newcastle when especially the midfielder trio, if they are not domain the game, usually facing a hard game. I wish if we have changing the formation even during the game from 4-3-3, for example, 4-4-2, like that, and.
Oh, I think we've lost you. I thought we'd lost you there, Al-Walid.
No, I was going to say something, but it's out of my mind. But anyway, I was going to say about Livramento. We obviously we really miss him. We lose his. I think exists of Livramento. Support Ilanga or Murphy or the side of the formation, but hopefully, as you said, also Brighton is very difficult team, especially with us, and hopefully things will change soon.
And it's a difficult place when you go on an away trip as well, Al-Walid, as you know only too well, of course.
Yeah,
That historical trip to Brighton, Al-Walid. I've just noticed a couple of comments when Ian mentioning that he felt that Voldemort was cross-eyed. I think it's just the angle that he's seen him at games. I don't think he means that he's cross-eyed. Anyway, over to you, Pablo. We seem to have caught you with a light on.
Only just. Bloody hell, mate. The overall feeling, I think, is disappointment. For several weeks, I've kind of come on and said we're waiting for that knock-on effect. We're waiting for that spark of the season to explode. And I think when you look at the Brighton game, I mean, we went through the predictions last week, and I sat right in the middle, 1-1. Now, to me, 1-1 is acceptable. Is a loss acceptable? A loss is never acceptable, but the hard part is the manner of the defeat. Now, for me, from what I saw on TV, there were periods where we did look, the Newcastle that we know. We were pressed, we were in control of certain, periods of possession. But my overall and my overriding feeling is that ultimately over the 90 minutes, we were never really in that game. From my view, we were outthought, we were outfought, and for me, tactically, we were, I wouldn't say inept, but I think we've got to give credit to Brighton as well. Their young manager, usually when teams bypass a midfield, like we did it to Liverpool in the cup final, they would go over, go long, bypass a midfield that way. Brighton didn't even need to do that. They were that smart. They were picking it up in fullback areas and, like Kev highlighted, deep midfield. And they were just slide ruling passes through and cutting us open, like a piece of cake. So for me, when I look at the manner of the performance, yes, I'm disappointed. And I'm also disappointed. I remember saying something 4 or 5 weeks ago where I said, look, what we don't want to be is coming up November and we're 10 days away from it, languishing in kind of the bottom 6 or 7. Well, one kind of faulty result against Fulham, and we are languishing in the bottom 6 or 7, which is a quarter of the season. Now, I know that I understand when we watch these games, we know the ability we've got, and we're a victim of our own success in the sense of we've seen the performances we've put in against the big boys, namely Liverpool's, Arsenal's, whoever you want to pick. So we know that level of performance is there. And when you look at that on Saturday, that is so way off. Now, I know there's cohesion problems at the moment, change of personnel. But for me, I just don't see any zip within us that would even get us into the top 6 or 7. Now, yes, I'm feeling a little bit negative off the back of that result, but this is kind of something I'm seeing now over the quarter of a season, call it. There's been glimpses, glimmers of hope, but we're not putting any of it to kind of fruition. Yes, massively, the problem for us is the missing 2 fullbacks. They provide such energy and such outlets, so there's always going to be a problem there. So Eddie is probably spinning plates and trying to keep us above water. I understand all that, but my overriding feeling is one of disappointment at the minute, mate, and I just hope to hell we can find something, hopefully Benfica, and shut Mourinho up just for the laugh, but we need to grab hold of something, and we need to grab hold of something really quick, because otherwise this could turn into a slide. And we all know what that happens. Pressure starts building. People get on backs for for things that they shouldn't do. So I don't know. We've got to give credit to Brighton. Brighton are a good side. We highlight that all the time. But I think we could have given them a bit of a better game, in simple terms. And certain players didn't turn up. Certain areas of the pitch we were left wanting. Great finish by Walter Mardy, which was obviously the highlight of the day. I remember, don't know if you lads remember, when I first saw that kind of goal, I think Lee Sharp did it for Man United in the early 90s in one of Cups. And I always tried to do that when I was playing football, but it never come off. I always ended up falling over myself and looking an idiot. But I don't know, mate. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's why I threw them boots away, Daz.
Disappointing.
Yeah. I think ultimately now it's crunch time. The pressure is going to build because this is going on too long now. We can't keep saying this every week and waiting. And I do believe a couple of lads said before, the players have got to take a hell of a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
You are right, Steve. At the end of the day, Eddie's the manager. He has a responsibility. I listened to what he said after the game, and For me, I think he was sugarcoating a little bit. I think he could have been a bit more honest. I think he did say that we were in periods, but whether he's trying to put on a brave face, but for me, that kind of performance level on Saturday isn't who we are as a football club.
Okay, good stuff. Alan?
Well, I was so disappointed, Steve, with the result. In fact, like when you consider the amount of things that have been beaten and drawn down there, it's actually one of our better performances. The first 15 minutes, I thought we played really, really well. And if Bruno's chance had went in, it would have changed the game. The shot he had just missed the post and really should have scored. But the midfield, I agree with the lads. The midfield went missing, and I agree with Kevin. Tonali was too far up, and the bypass, like Pablo said, and the lads before it. So I was really, really disappointed. And the fact of the result, Nick is probably impressing us more, more and more. So I said 14 goals last week, Steve. I think it might be 15 goals, every year. I mean, to be honest, we've got so many runners, Steve, or we're going to be classed as the Newcastle United Athletics Club because they don't seem to be able to pass the ball, the wingers. I mean, all of we've had a go at Jacob Murphy, but honestly, between the four, Harvey Barnes, Elanga and Gordon, isn't he the best of the four so far in the season? So they've got to shed the load of goals, Steve. That like basically the goal output's so poor. We've scored 7 goals this season. We've conceded 7. And I mean, I must admit, everything Steve Hasty said last night in the professionals is exactly a bit about what Kevin said, exactly what I thought the season would pan out. And that's why I said we would finish 9th or 8th at best, because A, they're not being able to train between matches. B, they're having injuries to key players. And then Steve said the most important thing is we haven't got the quality and depth of the squad. Well, that shows you there's nowhere. I'll put it on clip this, Steve. If we finish in the top 5 this season, I'll give £100 to Steve Hasty's food bank, because there's no way we'll finish in the top 5. And at this point, we've got 90 points to play for, 30 games, so it's a 30-match season. I just don't see where the goals are going to come from.
Alan, clip this. Alan, clip this. If we don't finish in the top 5, I'll give £100 to Steve Hasty's food bank.
Fair enough, Ian. Honestly, because the output, the wingers, well, that's why I say, like, the actual reaction of the defeat on Saturday. Yes, I was disappointed. I ranted and raved, and Bouncy got kicked out the door. But you know, at the end of the day, you go from one extreme where you've got Stu and George, bless them, saying we're going to beat Benfica 4-0 tomorrow. That's great positivity. I'd rather be there. But if you had seen the podcast and one Newcastle podcast, they wanted Eddie Howe sacked. And I'm just going, what? Over one result.
Who's that, though?
On another podcast. Yeah, Ian, honestly. And they wanted him sacked. And I'm thinking, where are you coming from here? And you had comments like Eddie Howe out. He's taking words for and so you get that extreme, lads. And this is where me and Darren, I hate to say it, Darren, but we're on the same path. We say it, we don't overhype them as much as some other fans do. And I look at the league table and I think Arsenal have improved massively. Man United, Man City have, Chelsea, Liverpool. And then you've got Tottenham and Man United. And then you've got 2 clubs, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, who have got managers that are really sought after and they're playing out their skin. And I'm thinking, are we any better than any of them teams at the minute? We're not. So we've got...
Not at the minute, but we are actually playing way below our level. That's my opinion.
I agree.
We will come good.
Well,
and I think that
we're in a better position now than the season when we got 4th place.
I think what it is.
You mentioned the squad's not good enough. The squad's better than it's ever been.
That's it. But so the other teams, Ian, But what I'm saying
yeah,
is,
yeah.
unfortunately, I agree with what Kevin said, is that Eddie Howe hasn't had time to train because we've had Jacob Ramsey out for majority of the season, Wissa, 2 new signings, and he hasn't been able to bed them into the squad and the team to work, like exactly what Kevin said, work on them constantly so they know the patterns of play, where you just think about, you don't have to look where the player's going to be. And I think that's what's missing badly, because we've only got a small changeover, till Tuesday night, and then we're waiting the three. I'll be
But Alan, that's what we want to do. Now that all the top teams don't complain about playing twice a week.
This is what I say about the quality.
And I'm saying, and about quality, but if we want to be in the top 5, unfortunately, that's the football life. They've got to roll the socks up and do it. It's not about it should be fit and use the knowledge. But if we want to be contenders for so-called top 5, that's what we're going to put up with. Do you know what I mean?
Well, December 2024, Newcastle United were 12th. So, look where they finished last season. I think that's the point that Ian's trying to make. So, it's not, as the league title isn't decided in October, and neither are the relegation positions or the places in between. So, there's a long way to go, chaps. Long way to go. But, I think the
next 3 games are massive, Steve, for me.
Everyone's opinion's valid. Everyone's opinion's valid. It's no one opinion's right. That's why we do this show. But next 3 home games, as you say, Alan, are very, very important because one will see us in a really good position in the Champions League if we can win tomorrow. If we can win at the weekend, gets us back on track in the Premier League. And if we beat Spurs, we're into the next round of the Carabao Cup. So next 3 games, all at home, I hasten to add. All very important. So, Jeff, coming to you now, mate.
Well, everyone seems to have forgotten this whole PRS and ATP business that we had. Our squad is not deep and it is not big, and we haven't had the players we would like because we weren't allowed to buy any due to quite a long-standing conspiracy from our good friends at Premiership, FA, all these nice people. What did I make of Brighton? Well, it was a bit of a disaster for me because I bought Sky as a treat for myself to discover it's not available in Sky. And I had a little. It's not available in Britain, England, right? I don't know how anybody managed to watch it, but officially it's not available anywhere in this country. Our football is not available here. How long before the FA Soccer Cup is played as a sort of starter bit for something more important like the Super Bowl? They're selling our stuff down the river, these people, and I'm not impressed. So I resorted to my VPN, which I've had to buy in order to be able to enjoy football, and found myself in Canada, and I've now had to deal with YouTube bombarding me with things about Canada. What's going on in ice hockey, man? It's really interesting. So that's been a bit of a disaster. So my entire experience of the game was watching the highlights. And you don't get anything from the highlights. And what could I say? Voldemort's goal, fantastic. I think Ronaldo used to do that sort of thing, did he not? Was that the sort of thing that Ronaldo did? With his funny little legs. He did most things. Again, it's a question of concentration, mostly. People, and we've got into this casual sort of 5-a-side football style where you just literally hardly look and you lay the ball off, and people are wise to that, and they will target particular players. And unfortunately, Big Joe did look out of place. Tactics against us, kicking it long into the space behind Dan Burn. Well, people have been doing that for a while, and Dan seems to deal with that quite well, to be honest. So we fall for a ball straight through the middle, right? And both those things, you can see our midfield jogging into the picture as the ball hits the back of the net, going, what happened there? Pointing at each other, right? No, they put it right through the middle. And I think somebody made the point, which I hadn't realised, which is a very good one, is that somebody is too far forward a defensive midfielder should be in a defensive position, not necessarily arriving late in the box, which is nice. It's always a treat when somebody arrives late in the box and pops it in there. But it's not their main job. So where do we go from here? Is it the green kit? Right. What a horrible kit that is. Don't really like it. And Nick did all right. Nick Pope did fine. He kept us in it, to be honest. There was a couple of really quite impressive saves. And there wasn't a lot of goal-mouth action from what I could see. And it could have gone either way, and it didn't. So the curse is back. As I said last week, it was spiritual. And somehow we've failed the test, and we should go away and light some joss sticks or something. I don't know.
Very good, Jeff. We need Rex. Your fans are asking.
Where's Rex? Rex?
You.
Yeah, my friend.
Hey!
They want to say hello to Rex. Yay.
There we
He's
go.
the right killer anyway, Joe.
Bye.
Very good.
Cool.
Thank you for that, Jeff. And there's Rex for all the Rex fans. Okay, we've got about 10 minutes left, so we're just going to go around the board, just have a quick chat about Benfica and get a prediction for Benfica and Fulham from the lads. George, I'll just take your Benfica prediction from you. Tonali's touch and go. He's been ill, hasn't trained today. Obviously, Tino, Lewis Hall, Johan Wiss are all still unavailable. And it's the same Polish referee and VAR official who combined to cheat Newcastle in this competition 2 years ago against PSG. So that's great, isn't it? What's your feelings about Benfica, George?
Oh, I think we'll bounce back beautifully. We'll always do well against Portuguese sides. They've never caused me much trouble at St James's Park, and I don't think they will. I'm expecting by half-time, after Mourinho said all the lovely things about Bobby Robson and how happy he is to be back at Newcastle at St James's Park, by half-time he'll be fighting with Jason Tyndall, because we'll be knocking the stuffing out of them, and it'll end up going into Newcastle.
Okay, good stuff, George. Thank you. We'll get your prediction, of course, for Fulham later in the week. Darren, over to you. Benfica, how are you feeling about it? What prediction are you going for?
I've gone for a 2-1 win.
Okay. What we're going to do with fullback, Darren? Now, if we're struggling, imagine what Eddie feels like.
I wish somebody could tell us what Dan Burn did wrong.
He's just not quick enough, is he? He's not a natural left back. You can tell he's not. He's only playing his covering. But I don't like him left back because he gets skinned all the time. If you've got somebody quick, you get beat all day long. So I'm not a fan of Dan Burn left back. When Lewis Hall, hope we can get back. Lewis Hall comes to the team, Dan Burn go back on the bench. I've got nothing against Dan Burn. I just don't think he's a left back at all. But you could play Trippier left back and play Braff right back. That's another possibility. Yep. Okay, so you're going for a 2-1 win, Darren. Kev?
Yeah. Fulham, I've gone for a lucky 1-0 win.
A 1-0 win against Fulham. Okay. Kevin?
I'll follow Darren with the Benfica score. I think it will be 2-1. I would not play Dan Burn out of left fullback. I would, like I said previously in the show, I would go to a 3 and play him as a 3. And I would go that way. Then the next 4 or 5 in front of him, that's up to Eddie Howe. I don't want to put somebody in there that, I mean, Gordon doesn't do. The only reason why Dan Burn gets skinned down is he gets isolated, and that's he gets put on the island. So anyway,
I disagree.
So in the Fulham game, I think again another tricky side, difficult side to play against. Good, well coached. So scrape a 1-0 win.
Okay, 2-1-0s for that. Okay, Ian.
Which one first?
Go for Benfica first, mate.
I think we're going to smash Benfica, if I'm being honest. I've just got a feeling. I think he might go 3 at the back with 2 wingers and no like playing like higher wingers. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've just got a feeling he'll go for it. But I think I'm going to go 3-1 Benfica.
3-1 to Benfica.
Not to us, obviously.
Or 3-1 to us. Okay.
Yeah.
And Fulham.
Fulham. I would do Fulham as well. Like, who said 1-0? Was that you?
Everybody.
Everyone said 1-0.
Darren said 1-0. Yeah, we're getting George's later in the week, so we've got Kevin, Darren, both at 1-0.
George won't say 1-0. He's not a miserable bastard. Like the negativity. And I don't know what's going on with Kev.
It's see what I think.
I know. And do you know what I think? I love you, Daz, but we're going to do it. I think, no, you don't. 4-1. Bollocks. 4-1.
Okay. Al-Walid prediction for Benfica tomorrow night.
Benfica draw and against Fulham 2-1 win.
2-1 win. Okay. Pablo.
Benfica, tough one. They got beat by Karabakh, didn't they, in Chelsea? So they're needing a win. I think. Do you know what, Benfica? I'm going to go a very slim, hard-fought game. I would go to 3 at the back as well, or 3 at centre back, even if it's to protect Dan Burns somewhat from the criticism. And I think we look a lot more solid with that. But I'm going to go 1-0 against Benfica. I'd be inclined to say something like a penalty, Walter Mardy penalty. And I think Fulham. I'm going to try and be positive here, but Marco Silva's another one of them wily old coaches, isn't he? I'm going to go 2-1 win against Fulham at home.
Okay. Over to Alan. I've got a feeling these might be slightly less optimistic.
Well, Steve, to be honest, I'm going over the other side of the fence in the sense that I think we've got to win. I must win, so I'm going 2-1 against Benfica. Mine, after saying that, they played well against Chelsea. I saw the game, and in parts, they could have got a draw at least. So it's going to be mighty tough, absolutely tough game. And I'm going to change the narrative, lads. I know a lot of the lads have said 1-0. I think we do need a big win, and I'm going 3-1 against Fulham. Well, Ian, we've got to smash them. And then, the biggest game of the season for me is going to be Tottenham in the Cup. For me, now.
How was that though? We've beaten Tottenham loads though.
We're over the history of the game. As I'm going by.
Last three seasons we beat them all.
Yeah, we've played well in the short spells. It's like Man United does. We've played well in that. If we draw against Man United or beat them this season, that's the best period we've ever had in our history against Man United. Best period in 130 years.
Do you not reckon we do?
I'll tell you, in the 50s, 60s, we're getting hammered off Tottenham.
I'm not talking about the figure tables now, though. I'm not talking about the figure tables now.
In recent history, yes, we played well.
Historically, we've 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row.
Okay, well, that's Alan's prediction. I didn't expect it to be as positive. I've got to be perfectly honest, so thank you, Alan. Jeff, finishing off with you and Rex's prediction.
We keep forgetting about our height for some reason. We have enormous height in this team, and we don't seem to use it much at set pieces. Possibly because we've got a set piece coach now.
Worse?
My prediction. I'm sort of going with 3-0 and 3-0 because I do that every week, and it's. I don't know if you can make money betting against scores, but I've got it wrong every week we've been on. So,
I'll tell you what. Tag this, Jeff. If we win 3-0 and 3-0, I'll give you 100 quid to donate. You can have that one as well.
So I'll pass it on to the as well.
Yeah, soundbite that. We're not willing. I'm happy. I'm safe. My money's safe.
I reckon I'm with Jeff. I've had the same mushrooms Jeff has on his magic carpet.
Sounds like
it. You like the skin.
Quick disclaimer: Jeff doesn't take magic carpets, and magic mushrooms doesn't fly magic mushrooms, and Nick Walter got cross-eyed. There we go. Only vegan ones. Brilliant. Yeah. Thanks for watching the Mad at Times Fans Forum. Thanks to Jeff, to Alan, to Pablo, and to Al-Walid, to Ian, to Kev, to Darren, and to Joe. Thanks for watching. And
good night, lads.
Good night, lads.
Good night, lads.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them at www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickys.co.uk, email info@mrvickys.co.uk, or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2-crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, unitedgrouptravel.com, email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com, telephone 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you like listening to us as a podcast, you can go to Sports Social Podcast Network or to iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. If you want to support the show, then hit the subscribe button. It's free. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the little thumb up under the video, which is the like button, or click share to share to your social media. You can also join the channel on YouTube by hitting the join button for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to become an NUFC Matters member, you can go to nufcmatters.co.uk. It's a £25 one-off fee. You get your pen, you get your badge, a key ring, you get your beer mat and your fridge magnet and your membership card, nufcmatters.co.uk for that. And we have an event early next year, 13th of February 2026, an evening with Beardsley, Waddle and Gascoigne takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. To buy your tickets for that event, go to the box office 0191 243 1171 or Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk.